So The Acolyte, everybody knows, is one of the best shows, maybe in history. Melonie, do you think?
Oh, definitely got to be top 3 at least.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a better show that's ever existed. If you're unaware, it's the kind of the latest Star Wars garbage tier show to come out. That's, basically, do you think it's fair to say that kind of after Mandalorian season 2, people are like,
Yeah.
like,
Absolutely. That's when I checked out. I feel like a lot of us did at the same time. Some people were checked out a little before, and I understand why. But I think for those of us who lingered a little bit longer, it was after Mandalorian season 2 that we were just over it.
Yeah, you had the combination of not just the firing of Gina Carano, but also kind of like, I mean, it would be disingenuous of us to say that people didn't like The Mandalorian. People did.
Oh, I
liked it.
I loved the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. By the way, I see you, Jeremy, in locals, and Zex in locals. So yeah, if you join on locals, then you can chat in there, and then you don't really have to super chat because you have your own category. Is a local chat showing up for me? Yep. That's weird that you asked that. I just literally said that. Yeah, I see a locals chat. So this is a show that is currently at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. That actually makes it the single worst rated Star Wars show ever. Because
did it jump up 2%, or is 13 the lowest it's been? Or I thought it was at 11. Maybe I'm forgetting.
13's as low as I've seen it, but
okay, maybe it was just wishful thinking. Maybe I was like, maybe it can be at 11 next week.
Sub 10%. yeah. Like, give us sub 10%, please. I'm wondering if I feel like I only saw it at 11, but or I only saw it at 13, but chat will tell me.
Yellow Flash here says he loves The Acolyte. So
Yellow Flash, yeah, he's definitely one of the biggest. I know he's one of the biggest fans
for sure
of The Acolyte. I'm starting to become a big fan too. Almost more than Brie Larson.
Yeah.
So this show obviously marketed itself as we're the gayest show, and
the gayest Star Wars show ever.
Yeah, they literally said that. I'm not saying like, oh, it's gay in like a pejorative. Like, this is a real quote from Leslie Headland. Quote, "It just so happens that my show here is only mostly gay. There's a big difference between mostly gay and all gay. Mostly gay is slightly straight."
Wow.
That's, but the problem is not that people. Okay, Matt says 13 has been the lowest. Okay, it's not that like people, don't like the show because of the LGBTQ stuff. I mean, there are people that don't like that. Okay, in general, like any show that has it, maybe they're like, I'm out. But the majority of the people don't like it because it's like that's all it is.
Right.
That's all the marketing has been. Strong independent Black woman lead, all, it's strong, everything's great. We got to talk about the Tim Pool thing too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much news today.
Yeah.
It's just that with these modern shows, it's like all they have. They're not saying, oh, check out The Acolyte for the best fight scenes in Jedi history, or the cool characters that you miss, or the origin story of Chewbacca. No, they're like, gay.
Guys, watch because gay. And speaking of something that's full gay, I would consider probably the new Doctor Who season. That went full gay.
That one went, yeah. If we're talking about percentages, yeah, that's definitely full. And I mean, the viewership. I've loved, just a small aside on the Doctor Who stuff. Again, just like Star Wars, I'm not like, oh, I love Doctor Who.
Right.
But it's been great to watch year after year. They just keep tripling down on getting more woke.
Right.
And they keep telling people to not watch, and they keep not watching.
I know.
It's like, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, oh, you don't like it,
don't watch. Oh, people aren't watching.
Yeah. Yeah, they asked for it, and then now people aren't watching. So the big feminist show, you know, the most LGBTQ ever, has now been exposed, Melonie.
Oh.
The Acolyte of those. Okay, so it was disclosed that male employees working on the show were seemingly paid better than female employees. Reed says that the filings from April 2023 show that when the production was in full swing, there were almost 700 employees working on The Acolyte. Of those employees, only 30% identified as female, and their hourly pay was 20% lower than male employees, according to the filings. Oh, no. Not only were women paid less than men, but 53% of the highest paid hourly workers were male. 53, I mean, come on, that's basically even, right?
It is pretty even, but when you have people that are working behind this show trying to pretend like, oh, girl power, people aren't watching because they hate women, this, that, and the other, well, then you kind of lose your stance on that whenever you're paying men more. You know, they lose their entire message. Just shows it's all performative for them anyway. When any reasonable person can see these numbers and say, oh, 53%, that's pretty close, that's fair. But when you're
that's not enough if you're a feminist.
If you're if you're a feminist, and if you're going to be preaching to people about, oh, why do you hate women? Well, then, okay, wait a minute. Then this isn't enough if you're going to be saying that.
Yeah, they wouldn't be saying that if it was 80-20 female. They'd be like, the article would read, Disney's Acolyte finally rights the wrongs of generations.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how they would report it. They would not be writing it like this, you know, and it's just so, of course, now the feminists are turning on it. You see, and you know, they locked the post. Nobody can post. You know, like, you know, how does this compare to industry wide? I don't know if 70-30 is better than average or worse. Like cope. Like these are Acolyte fans.
Oh yeah.
That are like, you know, like they say, to be clear, a workforce that is 30% women is fantastically diverse. For a major production like this, film production has historically been and continues to be an overwhelmingly male dominant. They're literally coping.
They'll move the goalposts. That's how they always operate. If it's like, oh, if it's from a company I like, then I will simp for that company, even if they're doing the exact same thing that I hate on other companies for. This is very par for the course with this or with anything. Their double standards are next level, and it's always that way. If they choose not to like somebody, just like we were talking with Dr. Disrespect earlier, they're automatically going to believe anything negative against Dr. Disrespect. But if someone like Hassan Piker, if they said something similar, then they would be showing Hassan Piker a lot more grace. So they just have their own prejudices, their own biases, and no matter what, they're going to defend those biases no matter what.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So, you know, just so people, as an example of what she's saying, if the Acolyte wasn't woke, this would read something like, a workforce is only 30% women in current year. This is insane. But because the Acolyte pushes, I don't know if this will work, but.
Oh, somebody said Doc tweeted. Doc tweeted.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh.
We're going to jump right to that in a second. You know, because they like this show, they're going to
simp for it.
Yeah, they're going to simp for it. Yeah, they're going to simp for it. That's the only, you know, that's literally the only thing they can do. And look, is the show a 13%? Probably not. You know, like it's not a show that is like I don't know. I can't think of a show I've watched. I guess American Horror Story is a show that I would give like a 10% or 15%. The first season was great. Every season after it has been a complete disaster. Right. But this, like, if you're a hardcore lore fan of Star Wars, you probably think the show is a 10%. If you are a fan of like not having fire in space, which is a bizarre thing to have, if you're not a fan of woke nonsense, you're probably torching the show.